is Africa. Samina, mina, waka, waka, Samina, mina, sangalewa. This time for Africa.
Tamina Sangalewa. It's the words from Shakira's hit song Waka Waka. You probably heard this song for the very first time during the 2010 FIFA World Cup games. But Waka Waka is actually an old rhyme sung throughout many parts of Southern Africa. I bet you didn't know that. Hello, it's Saturday, May 19, 2012. You're watching SaharaTV, and it's time for AfriCurrent. This is the part of the show when we give you a snapshot of what's happening in Africa. Some of these stories you may have heard and some you haven't, because on AfriCurrent, we like to highlight stories that are not being told in Western mainstream media, and I have a lot of news to share with you today. First, the U.S. government wants Boko Haram to be labeled as a foreign terrorist organization. Then China continues to move forward in Africa. This time it's targeting the media. And finally, an interesting sport is gaining popularity in Africa. I have these stories for you and more. I'm Chika Oduah. Stay tuned for this week's edition of AfriCurrent.
This time for Africa.
It is said that there is power in a name. Apparently, the United States government may hold this proverb to be true. The U.S. Department of Justice is pressing the State Department to name the Nigerian-based group called Boko Haram as a foreign terrorist organization. Boko Haram is also called the Nigerian Taliban. It's no surprise. Several media outlets have reported that the Taliban supports Boko Haram. And there's more. Just this week, a story came out that an Algerian-based terrorist group donated 40 million naira to Boko Haram. That's more than 25,000 US dollars. And Boko Haram just may put that money to use. More than 400 people this year alone have been killed by Boko Haram attacks. It's not a plan of attack that has brought ECOWAS troops into Guinea-Bissau. Rather, it's a plan to restore the country back to constitutional rule. ECOWAS troops entered Guinea-Bissau on Thursday after Nigeria's President Goodluck Jonathan made a public announcement that this would happen. Tensions are still running high after a coup on April 12th overthrew the government. Guinea-Bissau has 3 emerging business partners, and they are all keeping a close watch on the political situation. These countries are Brazil, India, and China. China already has large investments not only in Guinea-Bissau, but in many African countries. So far, most of these investments have supported infrastructural projects, things like railroads, airports, and telecommunication systems. But now, China is putting up money to boost its media operations in Africa. So while many Western media outlets are reducing its presence in Africa, China is doing the exact opposite. China's Central Television officially launched CCTV Africa earlier this year. It's a TV news service based in Nairobi, Kenya. CCTV plans to become a 24-hour news channel to compete with the likes of CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, and France 24. China continues to push for more business opportunities in Africa, but one area in Nairobi, Kenya, seems to be facing serious business challenges. This is Eastleigh. It's a suburb in the eastern part of Nairobi. Most of the residents of this neighborhood are of Somali descent. In fact, there are so many Somalis here that Eastleigh is sometimes called Little Mogadishu. But there are deep socioeconomic problems here. High crime, high poverty, and high drug usage plagues this area. Also, with little infrastructure, living here can be pretty messy. Now, business owners and traders are dealing with theft. Many store owners were forced to close business recently to protect against insecurity. They say the Kenyan police force is not doing enough to protect them from burglary. During a recent burglary, 8 armed men reportedly broke into 2 shops. 1.8 million Kenyan shillings was stolen. That's more than 21,000 US dollars. Now that's a lot of money. It doesn't even compare to the $20 an hour that a driver in Rwanda can earn for an hour-long game of moto polo. Yes, moto polo. It's a sport that is gaining popularity in East Africa. Now, to play moto polo, you will need a motorbike, a polo stick, and beer. Beer is an essential ingredient in this game because players like to stop for beer breaks. Beer and other forms of alcohol are a part of the culture in East Africa. Several studies and reports claim that East Africa may be suffering from a drinking crisis. Most of these homemade brews are stronger than the stuff you find in stores. Now, with the rise of moto polo, there may be a need to keep an eye out on what these riders are drinking. Hey, is this art or junk? It's a picture of South African President Jacob Zuma posing as the Russian revolutionary politician Vladimir Lenin, and guess what? His genitals are hanging out. Yes, his genitals. The portrait has sparked outrage from South Africa's ruling ANC party, but the art gallery administration refuses to take down what they call art. But why would an artist depict President Zuma with his genitals hanging out? Does it have anything to do with the fact that Zuma just married his fourth wife and has 21 children, including several out of wedlock? I'll leave that for you to decide. It's time for the number of the day. Today's number is 60. A large majority of Africans appear to be quite young. That's because more than 60% of Africans on the continent are under the age of 30. That's why many experts are saying that African governments should focus on education. Speaking to reporters at the recent World Economic Forum, former Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan, said this: "We have a young bulge that is going to need lots of work, lots of jobs, and governments should focus on that." In the last 10 years, countries like South Africa and Nigeria have already increased their education budgets to accommodate the rise in the youth population. That's all I have for you today. For information on these stories and more, check out SaharaReporters.com. Also, visit our brand new website, that's SaharaTVonline.com. For the very latest updates, follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. I'm Chika Oduah. Thank you for watching AfriCurrent.
This time for Africa.
Click on Report Your Bribe and now the West African nation support of occupied Nigeria.
Government protest